because I know there's a lot of pressure on time. I'm delighted to participate in this debate, and I want to congratulate the Honourable Member for Poplar and Limehouse and the Honourable Gentleman from Southend West for bringing this forward. The Grenfell tragedy in particular has brought the whole issue of fire safety sharply into focus and forced all of us to re-examine and re-evaluate building regulations to ensure they are fit for purpose and properly adhered to. Building regulations are of course devolved, and the Scottish Government has responded extensively, and the Scottish Housing Minister Kevin Stewart MSP has announced that amendments to the Housing Scotland Act 1987 are being brought forward. Regulations will ensure that sprinkler installation is mandatory in flatted accommodations, large multi-occupancy dwellings and places that deliver care, in addition, of course, to other fire safety measures. However, whilst we must do all that we can when it comes to fire safety, there is no room for complacency in any part of the United Kingdom. We must make the improvements necessary and ensure that we monitor those improvements to ensure they are indeed fit for purpose. And the Honourable Member for Poplar and Limehouse made an impassioned case, among others, for sprinklers, and the case is very well made. We know there is a correlation between sprinklers and reducing fatalities in fires. The fire in Grenfell taught us all a lot in many different ways, both about fire safety and about the kind of society we're trying to build. Most importantly, every single person is entitled as a right to the same high levels of protection when it comes to fire safety. Homes, schools, hospitals must all be as resilient to fire as we can possibly make them. And of course in Scotland we've had the tragedy of the fire in the Glasgow School of Art twice, which has still been investigated and into which there may be a public inquiry, so I'll limit my comments on that. But sprinklers, as we have heard, they're not expensive and they're not an added extra. They are essential for building safety and, of course, for public safety. We must all be vigilant on this issue, and I would say to the Minister that in the face of such a tragedy as Grenfell, we should all be humble and see what lessons can be learned for the future, so that such a tragedy on such a scale is never allowed to happen again. And I urge him to heed the conclusion of the National Fire Chiefs Council, which was that standards in England must be enhanced and brought into line with national policy in Scotland and Wales on the fitting of water suppression systems. And I take no pleasure in saying that, but I believe that all people right across the United Kingdom are entitled equally to the highest safety standards. And today we see around the Chamber a level of impatience at the lack of action. And I look forward today to hearing the Minister saying that he will listen to the National Fire Chiefs and the people in this Chamber, and that all necessary improvements, especially with regards to sprinklers, will take place in the future as soon as possible, so that the highest standards of safety are reached and maintained for the future.